on you. Boxing talk, just like I said, man, with that Coffee Chronicles. We got the Coffee Chronicles and the sugary donut to dip. You know what I'm talking about? You can't have boxing talk without some good old coffee and sugary donuts to dip. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? How rude of me. Would you care for something? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, man. The boxing talk. They say, bro, what is he talking about on the boxing talk, man? Well, today we're going to be talking about all kind of stuff, man. My partner was talking about the what I think about the Shakur and Tank Davis. And I'm going to give you my honest take. You know what I'm talking about? But before we get to that, now everybody talking about the Spence, right? Now, first of all, I hope Spence is all right. I actually hope. See, I'm one of the people that like Terrence Crawford and Spence. You know what I'm talking about? And I was liking Terrence Crawford before I was liking Spence like that. You know what I'm talking about? But I think that fight right there created a divide in boxing. I do. Yeah, I think that fight right there created a divide in boxing with boxing fans. You know what I'm talking about? But that fight with Fedor, now me just being a boxing fan, I would like to think Spence would be able to go up in there and get him, right? But then my common sense kicks in, right? And I think, you know what I'm talking about? What I know is Spence. And if you get one of the best Spence, you like, you know what I'm talking about? But if you're just thinking you don't know how Spence is gonna look after that fight with Terrence Crawford, that might be a tough fight for Spence. But can I tell you something? Fedor gonna be a tough fight for anybody he fight. If that nigga fight the way he did, because when he fought Tim Tszyu, on my mom, I ain't never seen dude fight like that. I ain't. That's one dude who always, every time I done seen Fedor fight, folks, he done gave up his height. He done gave up all his advantages. Because he going to sit right there and want to fight on the inside with you, right? He going to give up all his advantages, bro. He going to give up his height. He just want to, you know what I'm talking about? But, man, I don't know if it was the Tim Tszyu cut or, you know what I'm talking about? But I ain't never seen him just box. So if he fight that fight right there with just the jab, and he going to give anybody problems. Bray too lanky. He like, you know what I'm talking about? I don't know why he just don't go to that style, because it seemed like he got some shit. Like if he just practiced Bray, he'd just be able to clean everybody up, because he's so tall and lanky, and he got, excuse me, and he could crack a little bit. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, and he could crack a little bit. So, but you know what I don't like? I don't really like how we I don't really like how we fuck with it as boxing. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, it'd be some bullshit. Y'all might say Brett just on something, but it'd be like some bullshit, Brett. It's like you won't fight each other, but then you give other people shots, and then y'all act like one fighter is they just kind of like wait, fuck boxing up. Then you got one fighter, he like how you walk around here talking about who don't deserve a fight and all that. Like I just don't remember boxing being like that, folks. I just remember niggas wanting to show you they was the baddest motherfuckers and wanting to fight the best. You know what I'm talking about? To prove they was the best or one of the best. You know what I'm talking about? And it used to just be like that. Now I know now it's more money in boxing than ever, and it's just a bunch of different shit, bro. But still, at the same time, bro, you should want to see the best fights. You should just want to see the best fights. And now it's just like niggas high fighters. It's like fighters high themselves. You know what I'm talking about? But I just wish we could see better fights. I wish we'll fight like how Terrence Crawford finna fight Majarov with only 10 fights and shit. You ain't heard nobody say what has he done to deserve to fight and all that. You ain't heard nobody say that shit. But when it comes to Boots got to fight 6 other motherfuckers that Terrence Crawford. I don't be liking that shit like that, folks. You feel me? Just like Canelo be doing. Be holding hella weight classes, hostages and shit. The one where he got the belts at. And don't nobody say nothing about that shit. Everybody else get stripped type shit. You know what I'm talking about? I don't think Canelo been stripped of a belt yet, looking ass. You know what I'm talking about? This nigga got 9 different belts and 9 different weight classes. This nigga keep fighting at a weight he don't even got a belt at. You know what I'm talking about? He won't relinquish the motherfuckers and just let niggas fight for him or something, man. That shit crazy, man. But yeah, Spence, they say he pulled out the Fundora fight. And if that's so, I don't really look into it or nothing. Because he kind of going through hella shit, you feel me? He's still going through that shit with Derrick James. But you know what I'm interested in seeing? If Derrick James going to let Ryan Garcia back in his gym. That's what I'm interested in seeing. He might have already did. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? I'm late because I don't be following when that shit get out of the hand like that. I kind of like the boxing. I don't really like getting into the circus of it. You get what I'm saying? But I was just want to know if Derrick James was gonna let Ryan Garcia back in his gym. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I wanted to know. But yeah, I actually hope Spence. I hope he takes as much time off as he needs to take, just so he could come back to best Spence. I hope the same thing for nephew, and I hope them that punishment they took don't fuck him up. You know what I'm talking about? Even though that shit rarely happens. You know what I'm talking about? I really only seen, but I don't know, cause back in the day, you used to seem like motherfucker. Every fight was a hard fight, bruh. So it ain't them niggas was fighting, so you still didn't realize the punishment that they was taking. You know what I'm talking about? You don't realize how much, like Holyfield. I don't think I have ever not seen Holyfield in a war. You know what I'm talking about? It seemed like every fight that nigga had was a war. You know what I'm talking about? Yo, hold on real quick, man. Yeah, man. So now right there on the Spence and Fedor, man, I wanted to see it because I wanted to see how Spence looked. You know what I'm talking about? I'm one of them niggas that still want to see a Terrence Crawford Spence rematch at 154. I do. I know a lot of people don't want to see that fight. I just do. You know what I'm talking about? As Spence the same. Like, I don't really want to see Spence, to keep it real, or nephew fight if they not the same fighters. Like, if they going to come back and be a shell of themselves, I'd rather both of them just retire. You know what I'm talking about? I would. I would rather both of them just retire. That's just me. You know what I'm talking about? But I hope both of them dudes can come back and beat them. Because them were some good ass fighters. You know what I'm talking about? Them were some good ass fighters. But now on the meat and bones, the Tank and Shakur, you know what I'm talking about? They say, bro, what you think? My honest opinion, what I have always said is, before these little new youngsters came up, cause a lot of them niggas might be in trouble with them little new youngsters like Shoo Shoo, and when them niggas get to moving up and shit, Abdullah Mason and them, and I don't know about Hitcherson. Hitcherson's I like him cause he already showed he got heart, but you know what I mean. You you just gonna have to see Coffee Chronicles, but I've always said I think nephew Devin Haney. So if you ever hear me say nephew, I'm talking about Devin Haney. I've always said Devin Haney and Shakur could beat Tank, and everybody always like, oh nigga, woo, woo, because they just see Tank knocking motherfuckers out, right? And I don't know why they just brought this up in my head. I remember I was in the 5th grade, nigga, and this is the type of shit I'm talking about. And these are the type of fans that you've always had to deal with when you're a boxing fan. We talking boxing. They was talking about motherfucking Mike Tyson, but I don't think Holyfield was in the because it was a lot of shit about Holyfield and Tyson. That was always that was a fight that was always they was always talking about in the making, especially when Holyfield got too heavyweight. You know what I'm talking about? So that was always in the because I think that's who Holyfield always wanted to fight. To keep it real. So that was always in the work, but I don't know if it was just in the works that big yet. But it might have been lingering about Holyfield. I think he was still at light heavyweight or junior heavyweight or whatever it was, one it was. But I'll never forget this shit, man. I remember the nigga name was Marquette. And we was talking about somebody beating Mike Tyson, man. I just don't know if it was Holyfield. But this nigga said, shit, nigga, Sugar Ray Leonard could beat Mike Tyson. And that's the type of shit I'm talking about when you be talking boxing. And we like, bruh, they ain't even in the same weight class, folks. It's like, Sugar Ray, it's impossible to make that fight, folks. You know what I'm talking about? Unless Sugar Ray Leonard finna jump up about, I don't know, where's he fighting at? About 147, 57. He finna jump out about 43, 50 pounds. Or Mike Tyson gonna weight drain himself trying to get down there to, you know what I'm talking about? Tyson about what, 215? He gonna weight drain himself trying to get back down to welterweight. You know what I'm talking about? So Sugar Ray Leonard might be able to beat Mike Tyson if Tyson had to weight drain himself to get to 154 or 47. You know what I'm talking about? He might have had action. But just shit like that. I've been dealing with shit like that talking to motherfuckers boxing niggas. So you get what I'm saying. But my honest motherfucking opinion, I always thought Shakur and Nephew, if anybody could beat Tank, it was them. But you know how everybody just automatically gives Tank like you see what Tank do. And you just automatically think he's going to be able to do that to people. Like you just see him, oh no, man, when he hit you with that uppercut, I don't think they understand that there's some motherfuckers out there that he might hit them with another punch, but he ain't gonna hit them with that uppercut. You know what I'm talking about? They gonna go that whole fight making sure they don't get hit with that uppercut, man. You know what I'm talking about? It's just what kind of person you locked into. But I'm gonna tell you something that I think is the difference. I don't really want to say Shakur is scared because I don't really think he's scared because I don't think nobody who boxes be scared of nobody. But it's either two things that's gonna happen to Shakur if he fights Tank. You know what I'm talking about? He gonna lock in either two things. You gonna see that fight with when he fought Dale, whatever the fuck that nigga was, the Cuban or the Dominican dude, and it looked like he was just worried about his power. You either gonna get that dude, or that nigga gonna tap into his other dude, and you gonna see that nigga floating in the air hitting Tank with a 17 punch combination. You either gonna get one of the two. That nigga gonna either tap into himself and he gonna be so scared to get hit. It's just gonna make an awkward ass fight. I ain't gonna even say boring. I'm just gonna say an awkward ass fight. Or he gonna tap into himself and he gonna be that nigga gonna be floating in the air hitting Tank with a 17 punch combination. It's either gonna be one or the two. But this is what I do think out of Shakur and Tank. I mean, out of Shakur and nephew Devin. I think Devin really think that he could whoop Tank. Coffee Chronicles. I'm not sure about Shakur. I don't know if he really thinks he can. But I think nephew think that he could really whoop Tank. You know what I mean? I don't know if Shakur got that same thing, feel like he could beat him, but it's like kind of like a different matchup. And why everybody like, cause some reason they don't think Dale got a chin. I don't know why, but I actually think Devin Haney would be able to take a punch better than Shakur. You gonna say, bro, how you know that? We ain't never seen Shakur get hit. Because I done seen nephew get hit. I done seen nephew get cracked by niggas that can crack. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all act like Linares don't crack. You get what I'm saying? Y'all act like Linares didn't drop Lomachenko. He just stunned nephew. So I don't see how the nigga who fell has a better chin than the nigga who just got wobbled. That don't be making no sense to me. You know what I'm talking about? It don't. Just like I done seen Ryan Garcia get dropped several times. You know what I'm talking about? By I ain't gonna even say hard punches. They was hard counters though. But I done seen Ryan Garcia, because what they won't tell you, Ryan Garcia gets caught with that check hook too. The same punch that the nephew get caught with, Ryan Garcia gets caught with that motherfucker too. He gets caught with them hooks, right? Ryan Garcia chin be wide open. I don't understand how I done seen him fall a few times after getting clipped. And then I seen nephew throw the hardest punch he ever threw in his life, and he clipped him flush. You know what I'm talking about? And that nigga backed up and didn't fall. That nigga didn't even. Yeah, that shit just look awkward. You know what I'm talking about? But I ain't gonna even get into the steroid shit. I think Shakur can beat Tank. I do. It just depends on what fight he gonna fight. What Shakur you gonna see? Because I think he either gonna tap into his to a nigga that is gonna be so scared to get hit by Tank Power that you just gonna see that nigga you gonna see an awkward fight, or you gonna see that nigga tap into himself and just bring the best out of himself, and you gonna see that nigga flying in the air and shit like Bruce Leroy just standing over Tank hitting that nigga like the Three Stooges. You gonna see that nigga is gonna look like Shakur is like a ninja or something. He either gonna tap into one or two dudes. But Shakur, I don't know. I'm starting to lean. He damn near, but I don't know, so I don't want to accuse him of it. But I just got a feeling like he worried more about Tank Power than he letting on. But he the rawest one. Now, what I will say is Shakur defense, I think, is way better than Devin's. But I think Devin got more dog in him, because I think Devin be trying to prove the motherfuckers, because Devin can fight hella ways, bro. You get what I'm saying? And sometimes, and I didn't like this era either, because it was just a little spill before he even moved up to 140, where they was just basically calling him pillow fisted and shit. So every fight, he'd sit there and be trying to knock a motherfucker out. You know what I'm talking about? When he didn't really have to fight that fight. He was doing that with Linares. That's how he actually got caught, because he pulled straight back. He didn't even have to fight that fight. He didn't. And I don't know what motherfuckers, but you got your own opinion. But like, that fight with Lomachenko, that was a good ass fight too, right? But I don't even think that fight was close between Devin Haney and Lomachenko, bruh. I say Lomo might have got 3 to 4 rounds, folks. 3 to 4 rounds. Nephew was punishing that nigga to the body. He was eating his ass up with that jab, bro. Lomachenko really couldn't do nothing with nephew. He got them few little rounds where he got his little angle and the nephew couldn't catch up with that shit. That's that fight. It was like Bill was trying to tell that nigga nephew something. And it was like nephew got tired of hearing that shit. He was like, fuck that. And you seen nephew go back out there and went back to that jab. And when he went back to them jab and that body punches, Lomachenko couldn't fuck with him. He couldn't. He was tearing Lomachenko ass up with that. I want to say it was like maybe it was either the fourth, it was either to the 4th or 6th rounds. But one time in that fight, Lomachenko was on the ropes. Nephew hit that nigga with a body punch. That nigga Lomachenko screamed, bruh. He threw his head back and screamed like, ah! Oh, my mama. Nephew was hurting Lomachenko with them body punches, bruh. Go watch that fight. All right, but like, motherfuckers, like I said, y'all, the way y'all judge boxing is like, like y'all don't even know, like, a nigga get dropped, that's just a 10-8 round, depending on how bad he was getting whooped. It might be a 10-7, just depending on how bad he was getting whooped before he got dropped. But like, most of the time, bro, that's just a 10-8 round. That's all the knockdown does, bro. You know what I'm talking about? You like, but y'all y'all put more on the knockdown. Y'all be like, man, but he dropped the nigga, and the nigga been and got up and whooped the nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Kind of like German Tank. Well, how the fuck you say his name did? Triple G. Triple G dropped that nigga, right? I promise you, German Chanko got up off that mat and buttoned Triple G ass up for the rest of that fight. And I remember that fight, bro, because I ain't seen too many fights where a nigga get dropped hella quick. And he regained Marquez. I used to see Marquez do Pacquiao like that, though. Pacquiao dropped that nigga. That nigga Marquez, he get up off the mat and button that nigga up. I can't remember this other nigga. I want to say, I think that nigga name was Joe Diaz too, man. Or Jojo Diaz. I want to say that nigga was like the lawyer. I know y'all remember that nigga. Now, he could box like a motherfucker, had beautiful combinations. Dad, you talking about pillow fisted. That nigga could not hurt you for nothing in the world. But I remember that fight with Marquez. Man, that nigga was beating Marquez like he was buttoning him up for about 7 to 8 rounds, bruh. Marquez caught him with that same motherfucking Pacquiao punch, bruh. I'm telling you, when Marquez, I don't want to say because I ain't really see now. I think about it, see Marquez just fight hella black fighters. I just remember Pacquiao. I mean, not Pacquiao, Mayweather. I might have to go back because I might have just overlooked it. But I really remember Marquez fighting like the Pacquiaos and like the other essays and shit. I want to say like Barrera and them, if he ever fought Barrera. But I remember his, like, he used to have hella other fights. I never really remember him just fighting hella black people. But what I used to notice about Marquez, if that nigga ever caught your motherfucking timing, if he ever got your timing down, bruh, you was finna get hit with one of the hardest counters you ever got hit with, folks. And that's one of them essays, bruh, I used to be seeing getting his ass whooped. You know what I'm talking about? I like the Marquez, though. He was tough. He was a little tough motherfucker. He'll be getting his motherfucking ass whooped. And he'll get that motherfucker, he'll time motherfucker with that counter punch and lay their ass flat. I done seen 2 niggas fall on their face flat. I have. But Shakur and Tank, man, like I said, I think either 2 things gonna happen. Shakur gonna tap into his dude to where Tank ain't gonna be able to hit him at all. You know what I'm talking about? He just gonna be worried about Tank power, and you gonna see that fight he had with Dale Santos or whatever. You gonna see a zap board on that fight plan, right? Or that nigga gonna tap into his other self, and you gonna see that nigga flying in the air, hitting Tank like this with a 17 punch combination. You know what I'm talking about? Because I used to always really want to give Shakur a better chance than Nephew, because I believe at some time during that fight, Nephew would try to stand there and fight Tank. Because that's just his mentality sometimes, you know what I mean? Nephew a little tough motherfucker, I promise you. He'll just have a mentality like he'll get tired of you saying how hard you can hit, or like he gonna run and that's all he do, and he'll make it a point, bruh. You know what I'm talking about? Not to run. You get what I'm saying? So I always thought Nephew would put himself in more danger, like taking more risks. Almost like he'll try to be the first motherfucker to hurt Tank or some shit like that. You know what I mean? But I always thought Nephew had a chance with his body work. I did. I thought I just Nephew length. I think Tank would be a harder fight if Nephew come back and he the same before all that bullshit. If he the same dude, he gives Tank a harder fight just because of his length. He more lankier and shit. That, like, I don't think y'all understand how short Tank is, and like how someone, like, if you scared of Tank, you gonna look like Frank Martin. He just gonna be able to walk you down without jabbing or nothing. Just keep walking up on you like telling you, nigga, give me your money, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? He gonna keep on. But like, Matias be doing that shit too. Matias be doing that shit too. They'll just walk. They're full court pressure. You know what I'm talking about? Don't really be in there behind no jab. like T.O. be doing. You know what I'm talking about? But T.O. really the only motherfucker. I guess they don't fear T.O. that much because they be tearing T.O. ass up on the way in. I ain't bullshitting with you. They be tearing T.O. ass up on the way in. I ain't bullshitting with you. I can see, even though they be talking about T.O. be, like he'll surprise you every now and then with a performance. I see a plethora of motherfuckers just beating T.O. until they stop the fight, bro. I ain't bullshitting with you. I ain't bullshitting with you. Cause he gets to a point where he just looks for that one, like that jump hook. Like he gets to a point in the fight, bruh. I done seen him do it way too many times to where he can't touch you and the motherfucker too elusive and shit. But a lot of them other motherfuckers be like, I want to say scared and shit too, be nervous. Cause they always get hit with that motherfucker like Kambosos and them. They always get hit with that motherfucker in the late end of the fight. Cause he'll start pressing you. But like, I see T.O., I see a gang of motherfuckers just beating the dog shit out of that fool. I do. I do. Y'all, hold on. Let me go let her in. It's hot. I don't want to come in. I don't be plump tired. It's hella hot outside. Her first sweat. But yeah, so far as, I don't know. I can see that fight going a lot of ways. I can. But I don't think, it ain't good, bruh. Yeah, it ain't good. But like Shakur's so raw with that, with his defense, folks. You know what I'm talking about? He's so raw with his defense, bruh. Like that nigga that fly in the air that hit Tank with them 17 punch combinations, bruh. Like if I think like that nigga could do like if he tap into that man, bruh, I could see that nigga standing in front of Tank and Tank not being able to touch that nigga, bruh. I could just I can, bruh, if he tapping into that other nigga. I could just see him frustrating the shit out of Tank, folks. If he tapping into that nigga that could hit him with a 17 punch combination, if he tapping into that person, I can, bruh. I could like see that nigga standing straight like how Mayweather did Canelo. I could see some shit like that where like he just frustrates the shit out of Tank and Tank. You know what I mean? Or I could see him tapping into that other dude where he's so worried about that nigga power. You know what I'm talking about? He's so worried about that nigga power. You liable to see that nigga warp into a turtle. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga just turn into a shell in the ring. You know what I'm talking about? Boxing glove come out that motherfucker every now and then. You know what I'm talking about? But I can see that nigga morphing into two people. But I think both of them would be a good fight. I really hope Lil Nephew come back on this game. I really hope that shit didn't fuck him up. I hope he can get back on this game. I wish they would have. But I hope him and Spence. I hope both of them niggas stay away as long as they need to get back to themselves. I do, because both of them niggas good. You know what I'm talking about? Even though we living in this era where, like, if you lose one time, nigga tell you to retire. You know what I'm talking about? But it's just, I don't know the way they cover boxing. The way they cover boxing, the way the fans is. How they'll just give motherfuckers superpowers. You know what I'm talking about? Just like Tank, man, and y'all gotta realize, like, just look at. So you mean to tell me, even though y'all claim Nephew don't got power, whatever, I think he has enough power to make you just not run up on him. That's what I believe. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I believe, because if you watch the fight, after motherfuckers be getting clipped and they be getting rocked so crisp and shit, you just don't, you know what I'm talking about? They be talking about he don't got power, but you be seeing you be seeing where he done gained the motherfucker respect at. You know what I'm talking about? But you just gotta look at Tank kind of short, bruh. And you gotta look every time Tank. But Tank is getting better. And Tank raw. I'm not saying Tank ain't. I like all them niggas, bruh. I'm not like. I'm a Devin Haney fan. I like Errol Spence. I like Terrence Crawford. I like Tank. I like all them niggas. Shushu, Hitchison. I like all them niggas. You know what I'm talking about? I like all the little nephews. Shakur. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm not the biased person. Because what I do hate is like, we don't even see the fight and we can tell you what's going to happen. Just like this fight coming up. Like a motherfucker want to tell me I'm hating on Terrence Crawford. I don't want Bud to lose. You know what I'm talking about? I don't. I want him to win. I really wish he was fighting Boots. That's what I wish. I wish you niggas would stop acting like, I don't know, y'all niggas be acting like y'all, like, the public could tell y'all name ain't big enough. So it's like y'all got to sit around and fight, wait on certain fighters. And, man, you ain't got to do that shit. Just fight, bruh. You know what I'm talking about? You can make the biggest thing. Y'all can fuck around and, because if you just said the biggest names in boxing, or they're like I don't be understanding that face of boxing shit. I don't. Because it really, like, that shit is like, do you get what that mean? Like, the face of boxing, that's like Mike Tyson status, bruh. You know what I'm talking about? Like, do you realize, like, Mike Tyson was the face of boxing, nigga, when Sugar Ray Leonard and Hagler and them was around, bruh. You know what I'm talking about? Them niggas was good and shit, Roberto Duran and them, but, like, Tyson was boxing. You know what I'm talking about? And probably the last time you seen something like that, Mayweather. You know what I'm talking about? You done seen people with runs, but you just talking about the face of boxing. Now that shit's split, kind of, depending on who you ask. They gonna try to tell you it's Canelo, but it's probably like Canelo, Tank, them probably the two biggest motherfuckers, Canelo and Tank. They trying to make the little Chinese motherfucker something, but that nigga gonna end up like Lomachenko. Watch what I tell you. Hey, they gonna eat like how they nigga they'll tell you Lomachenko was the my partner always be trying to tell me that shit, bro. Man, Lomachenko, bro, do you realize I think the only pay-per-view fight Lomachenko had was with Nephew. I don't know. But like, do y'all realize Lomachenko just fight on ESPN, bro? Do you realize like a lot of them niggas just fight on ESPN, Teofimo Lopez and them and shit, bro? Like, that shit crazy. That shit crazy as shit. But you could just fight, bruh. You get what I'm saying? Motherfucker act like they gotta sit around and wait for this fighter. Cause y'all hella biased on the way y'all cover that shit, bruh. Y'all gonna jump on one person, then y'all gonna let the other people slide. Y'all gonna kiss Canelo in the mask. Y'all gonna jump on Spence and Lil Dev, Shakur, you know what I'm talking about? Y'all see how they done turned Shakur a little bit in the Dev? Remember it was Dev? And then went through his little thing. Look who it is now. They, you know what I'm talking about? This shit crazy as a motherfucker, bruh. As a motherfucker, boxing talk. But, hell yeah, I think Shakur could beat Tank. I'm not one of the people that think Tank is unbeatable. I think it's going to be hard. This is what I do think. I think it's going to be hard for you to fight Tank and not get hit hella hard at least once. Now, that's going I think that's what's the, and I think that's what everybody know. Like, I think that's the part. But I think it can be done, folks. Because I think, like, if you bring your right shit that night, bruh, I think that you, now I think Shakur has a better chance of not getting hit than Dev does. Because Shakur a little bit, way more defensively responsible. Not just that, bruh, that nigga got some shit the likes of, cat reflexes. You know what I'm talking about, bro? That nigga will be in front of your face, blood, and you can't hit him. You know what I'm talking about? Like that nigga be like a nigga up on you and you can't hit him. You know what I'm talking about, bro? But it's like, man, how long could you do that shit? Like, you gonna have to lock into your other person. You gonna have to lock into your best person. But it's like, if we keeping it real, you gonna have to do that shit that night. You get what I'm saying? Because it ain't even really like you done had hella fights. Like, Shakur, and that's another thing. And that's why, I don't know. I think them would be two different fights anyway. I think the way Shakur fight Tank, it'll be way different from the way Nephew fight Tank. But I think Dev in his head think that he could beat Tank. That's what I think. Stop. Why you always do that, bruh? Why you just can't come kick it? Chewing on shit. Go on, get up out of here, man. What bothers you? You know what I'm talking about? Hold on, y'all don't remember that one, huh? What bothers you? You know what I'm talking about? That motherfucker didn't want nothing but them sugar crumbs. You know what I'm talking about? That motherfucker smelled that sugar donut. You know what I'm talking about? Dipped in Coffee Chronicles. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I'm not one of them people bred that like like I just need to see it. Cause I'm one of them people that can see that shit going anyway. I'm one of them people that could, I don't know, you might get caught up in the lights. They walk out there and knock your ass out hella quick. The only thing that would be able to surprise me about, I think, any one of them Tank fights is if a nigga was able to drop Tank. That's the only thing that I would never have thought. So that would be the only thing that would have surprised me. Other than that, but the thing about fighting Tank, and Tank is good because people just think Tank be knocking motherfuckers off, bruh. He does, but like, Tank do good ass work, folks. Tank know how to fight. He know how to fight, bruh. He one of the best at setting traps. He do shit like, he one of them niggas like, you know how a nigga just, that's why they kind of knew Frank Martin ass was doing. Because he just, like, he don't really know how to change that shit up. He just going the same pattern. You know, motherfucker be boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Man, motherfucker catch that shit, it be boom, boom, bow. You know what I'm talking? You know, motherfucker got the timing down, bruh. I ain't bullshitting with you. So we good. But I think Shakur is just more defensively aware. I think Shakur, and at the time before, if Lil Nephew come back the same, I thought they both had the chance at beating Tank. I did. Because they could box him. Because I could see Nephew, because, and this is something else. They gonna say, bro, you just like Devin Haney. Here you go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Nah, bro. Because the shit y'all be doing, right? I promise you. Because Tank went up to 142, bro. But he fought Mario's Barrios. You know what I'm talking about? Them niggas could have went up there and fought Regis Prograis. Them niggas was scared of, they was talking about Regis Prograis was the boogeyman up there, bro. And I think that was before his fight with Josh Taylor. But didn't nobody want to fight Regis Prograis, bro? You know what I'm talking about? And Nephew went up there, you know what I'm talking about? The Regis Prograis could crack, nigga. In that same, I ain't gonna say the exact same fight he fought against Regis Prograis, but like that's some shit I seen him do in the Tank. To where like you ain't gonna hit him with your best punch. He's just gonna be on your ass. Beautiful, like that was a boxing master class, bruh. I'm not bullshitting with you. At your first fight at 140, nigga, and you take on one of the top two toughest motherfuckers up there, bruh. But motherfucker don't get credit for that. They just gonna say it was too big, bruh. That's what I said. You could walk on water and the nigga gonna say because you can't swim, folks. Boxing talk. Boxing talk. I get to talking about Lil Nephew and get mad because I could just, because y'all play him and even when he got cheated, nigga. Y'all act like that nigga wasn't getting cheated in that whole fight and he was still in that motherfucker holding his own, folks. Fight was still close. And this nigga fighting a nigga with a zap board on his game, folks. That shit irritate me. Because y'all just like to tease niggas. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all do. Y'all won't even get a nigga the credit. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all just want to tease the nigga. Sometimes you get dropped, nigga, your ass be in the air. Nigga got up every time, I promise you. If you talk to boxing talk, I only got to talking about the nephew, Devin Haney. Uh-oh, here we go. You know what I'm talking about? Because y'all don't tease people, bro. You didn't see one man when Linares knocked down Lomachenko. Did nobody have a motherfucking the way nephew was getting teased and shit? You know how softball be doing it with the faux thing and always got the. You didn't see none of that, bro. When Usyk got on Tyson Fury, pummeling this nigga, bro. Looked like he had grabbed him and threw him to the other rope, bro. Hey, you ain't see nothing. You like they just overlooked that. Talking about, oh, Usyk just has heart. Now, come on, y'all. Tyson Fury's the hero. This nigga damn near got beat to death by a nigga, a middleweight. Nigga, you know what I'm talking about? A nigga that was fighting Sean Porter, bruh. This nigga, a heavyweight. He done got dropped by the other nigga that came from the other, that nigga came from MMA somewhere, bruh. Dropped that nigga with overhand. You know what I'm talking about, bruh? But he just don't, y'all don't say he ain't got no chin. When he get up, oh, he got gall and all that. Come on, bruh. But it ain't the same. That shit is nerve-wracking, folks. It is. That shit is nerve-wracking. Listen to them people talk about Lomachenko, blood. Did y'all watch that interview with Sean Porter and them when he was talking about that shit? When Sean Porter was trying to give him the pass? Sean Porter tried to get that nigga 20 wins and 0 losses. Sean Porter was still trying to talk about Lomachenko like he was undefeated, folks. Then check this one out. They was like, nah, he lost it. Then the nigga said, oh, I know he had a couple of losses in there. If you knew he had a couple of losses, why you say 20-0? Shit don't even make no sense, bro. But if you listen, you know what I'm talking about, nigga tell on himself, bro. That's why motherfuckers don't even like to be around me, bro. That shit don't even make no sense. He said, and Lomachenko, what, he's 20-0? Then he was like, no, he has a couple of losses. You know he got a couple of losses. Nigga, wasn't you calling the fight? I don't know if he was, but I think he was calling the fight. But that nigga got like 3 losses. That nigga like 18-3, bruh. He got beat by the other little fat Mexican nigga that was walking him down with the body punches like this. You know what I'm talking about? Sausalito over there, that nigga dang was walking him down like this. Oh, he was walking that nigga down like this. You know what I'm talking about? Roughing this little ass up, nigga. Walking that nigga down and got on up out of there. You know what I'm talking about? That nigga got like 3 losses, bruh. But the nigga, yeah, I think it was Sean Porter. That nigga was talking about, you know, I get to talking proper and shit. I like Sean Porter too, man. I do. Because I'll tell you, Sean Porter had the best resume at welterweight. There'll be a lot of them niggas who don't get credit for their resume down there. Like Keith Thurman and them. Niggas fought a lot of niggas, bruh. They did. While other niggas was, talking about who they was gonna fight. Them niggas was fighting niggas. You feel me? They was. And Danny Garcia. That's one thing I give them niggas. They was eager to fight each other. You know what I'm talking about? All them niggas got it out the way. That's how it's supposed to be done. You rarely see that, so you gotta commend them niggas for that. But that nigga commentating and all that shit, they be playing that, him and Tim Bradley, they be playing that ESPN, fool your friend on you. They'll start giving, they'll see a nigga getting his ass whooped. They'll start giving him a reason. They be like, well, you know the referee took a point, so we don't know how that's going to play a part in this. You know what I'm talking about? They'll already start giving you a flam for what's to come, folks. They'll talk you right into that shit. Now, you sitting here watching the nigga getting his ass whooped. And they'll start saying shit just like that. Well, you know the referee took a point from him, so that's going to come into play if it goes to a decision. They get to say shit like that, bruh. I'm telling you. But that shit, we biased as a motherfucker the way we cover shit up. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all see how everybody let Ryan Garcia just slide. And they made a big ass thing about everything else. They was more mad about everything else. And bro, like, fuck all y'all. You know what I'm talking about? I wish I could join the KKK and just all that shit. And you notice, like, if you would have said some shit like that about other people, you would have been banned. They would have been talking about cancel culture. Like, you would have been out of there. You better not come up here and say something like that about them other people. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, the FBI liable to label you as a motherfucking terrorist threat. No bullshit. But it's cool. Niggas be something straight out of comic book, boxing talk. You know what I'm talking about? But we gonna apologize and give a motherfucker a pass. Then we gonna jump on the brothers. You know what I'm talking about? A nigga who won the fight. That's what I don't like about Shakur. Because y'all be talking about that nigga, talking about he be having boring fights or whatever. That's probably because y'all just not a fan of boxing. Like that. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all probably didn't grow up on Sweet Pea and James, Tony, and them. And, you know what I'm talking about? Just respect the art. Because that's a gift, nigga. To stand in front of you, hit you multiple times and not get hit. Yeah, that's a skill. On some real shit. You might not think it is. You might call that shit boring. Talking about a nigga won't let his hands go and all that shit. Alright. But y'all be giving nigga flack like he got punched on and lost the fight. That nigga get criticized like he lost the fight. I say fuck y'all too. I go in there and fight my best fight, but do I think he could beat Tank? Yeah. Do I think he'll beat him? I don't know. I told you, I think, my honest opinion, I think two things is gonna happen. He either gonna morph into two people. He gonna morph into his dude where he's so worried about that motherfucking power. You gonna see that day, the other nigga he fought, Santos, you gonna see that fight with a zap board on it. You know what I'm talking about? Or you gonna see that nigga morph into his other man. You know what I'm talking about? And look like a ninja. You gonna see that nigga floating in the sky and shit, hitting that nigga Tank with a 17 punch combination like this. I'm telling you, he gonna either morph into one or two people. But where I'm kind of, like I said, if it was just him and nephew, before all that shit happened, I would say nephew had a better chance at beating Tank. Even though I think nephew had more of a chance of getting hit by Tank with a big shot than Shakur does. But I say that just because nephew didn't have way more bigger fights. He didn't like prepare himself for that type of shit right there. You know what I'm talking about? Shakur just like the way they match make him is just like, you know what I'm talking about? There's hella people he should have just already fought. Or should be fighting, like, you know what I'm talking about? So you really don't know, like, you know he good, but you really don't, you ain't seen him just put that shit together against nobody, you know what I'm talking about, that really had that shit too. You feel me? But I think he either gonna morph into two people. But I think he got some shit in him too to where like, but what I know for sure is nephew think he could beat Tank. Shakur, I don't know. I don't know if he really worried about his power on the under or not. You'll just see. But I'm one of the people that just want to see it. You know what I'm talking about? I like to see all that shit. I just like to see everybody fight each other. How it turned out, it just turned out. That's what boxing about. But us as fans, bro, we done turned that shit into something else. We done turned that shit damn near into like a hateful sport. To where like we just, it ain't even about the love of the sport no more. Especially on these channels and shit. We gonna follow what's ever getting views. We gonna put whatever the whatever you gotta agree with to get views, that's what you gonna agree with to get views. And then we gonna it's gonna be the know-it-all show. That's what it's gonna be. We gonna be on whatever topic to get views, and then it's gonna be I told you so, and I told you it's gonna be one of them shows. You know what I'm talking about? You don't really get to I just like to see all that shit. Because I'm one of the people that just don't know until you see it. You could think anything, but like until you see that shit, you ain't gonna know. So I just like to see that shit. I like to see Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford again. I mean, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm glad I said that. Even on this fight right here, motherfucker act like I'm not hating on Terrence Crawford. I like Bud. I like Bud and Spence. I told you. I like the Bud before I like the Spence. I just like all the fighters. I just want to see niggas get down. I just don't be thinking, bro, I'm just, if you think a nigga, like, there's no danger for a motherfucker, it's like, I don't know if y'all be watching boxing or whatever, or I don't know if y'all didn't watch Dude. I didn't know who Dude was either, you know what I'm talking about? So when I seen that, I just went to go look Dude up, you know what I'm talking about? Because you'll hear everybody say the new Triple G and shit. I don't know, just because he might be, but it ain't like they fight the same or some shit like that. But if you'll just see where Dude is dangerous at a little bit, bruh, you will. You will see like, I told you would be worrying me about people. Anybody, even nephew. You could tell niggas even before we found out Dude, bruh. I was like, I don't like that fight right there. I don't. Because I don't like when a motherfucker, like one of their flaws is one of the other people's best punches. Sean Porter, bruh, used to, just like nephew, during some time in the Sean Porter fight, somebody gonna catch him with that check hook. And a lot of times that's where he get knocked down at. Because you remember that nigga, he used to have kind of like an organized confusion, but he'll be off balance sometimes like a motherfucker. Look like that nigga be, sometimes that nigga be in there look like he breaststroking. You know what I'm talking about? That nigga be up in there like this. You know what I'm talking about? That nigga be wild as a motherfucker sometimes, you feel what I'm saying? So he was open for it. Nephew be backing out straight off too sometimes like that, even when he throw his jab. On some real shit. But yeah, Terrence Crawford gets hit with them overhand rights, bruh. He do. And like I said, I just hope Terrence Crawford can hurt dude. Because if he can't hurt dude, bruh, if he can hurt dude, you'll see like a Errol Spence type of performance. Because like I said, dude hella goofy. He is, bruh. He got some little shit right there, bruh. But a lot of that shit he throw, bruh, he just always open. That nigga always open, bruh. I ain't bullshitting with you. He got some little slick shit, but like that nigga defensive, that's why I said I see the shit that they see where they could take advantage of. I just hope he could hurt him. Because I don't want him to lose the dude. Because once again, if he lose the dude with the 10 fights, please, bruh, they gonna act like that nigga never could fight, folks. The Spence fans gonna be happy because they really want him to lose on the under, bruh. I ain't bullshitting with you. Because if you look at all the people who starting to trying to cover dude now, talking about he might be in the problem, they was like, wait, like Earl Spence fans. You know what I'm talking about? And like you could tell because they never just talk about the upcoming fight. They always throw Spence in there. Man, y'all still talking about that shit? That shit over with. Remember on Friday when that nigga Pinky walked up, he said, man, every time I see you talking about that shit. You know what I'm talking about? Bro, that shit over with, man. You know what I'm talking about? I would have liked to see Spence fight Fundora, though. But, like, nigga, Fundora a hard fight for Spence and Crawford. I think these next couple of fights Crawford fight might be dangerous for him. Depending on who he fight. You know what I'm talking about? I wouldn't mind seeing Terrence Crawford and Charlo. You know what I'm talking about? If they gonna be right. But like I say, bruh, if Terrence Crawford can't hurt dude, you gonna see Terrence Crawford lose in embarrassing fashion. You is. You is. But if he can hurt dude, yeah, he should be able to put dude away. But for them first 4 to 6 rounds, bruh, you gonna see dude with immense pressure. I ain't bullshitting with you. But we'll see. It should be a good fight, but I don't want Bud to lose. I'd rather Bud fight Boots. That's the fight I really want to see. I think that's the fight everybody want to see. But somehow we can't get that fight because the Canelo fight is more important. I don't know why y'all be putting that shit on thick like that. I know that's probably the biggest money fight in boxing. If you could fight that nigga, you know what I'm talking about? Since that's the biggest money fight in boxing, you know what I think? I think they should have Inoue fight Canelo. You know what I'm talking about? I think they should have the dude for China fight Canelo. That's the biggest money fight. Fuck it. You know what I'm talking about? See what it do. He great. Fuck it. You know what I'm talking about? With that nigga at 126, which 168? You know what I'm talking about? That shit ain't nothing but about 42 pounds. You know what I'm talking about? Sometimes you just gotta challenge yourself. You know what I'm talking about? Fuck it. But on the real, niggas could stop doing that. You could. Oh, that's what happened. I turned that motherfucker off. Like, you ain't really gotta act like that's the only fight around this motherfucker. You feel me? You could create other bigger fights for real boxing fans and shit, bro. Bigger boxing audience. Because I think the real boxing, like world, I think they done got mixed up with the popular opinion of social media. So I think motherfuckers be feeling like whatever the opinion is and motherfuckers comments and on social media, that don't really be the real boxing world like opinion. That'd be like the opinion of trolls and people who really don't know boxing and shit, to keep it real. But I think the boxing people is more starting to pay more attention to the that invisible shit, really. What they talking about on Twitter and shit. But yeah, I think Shakur could beat Tank. Will he? I don't know. I'd love to see it. I'm telling you, I think Nephew could beat Tank. Will they fight? I don't know. You see what happened now. I hope but I hope Nephew and Spence could come back just to their regular self. So I wish both of them niggas to stay out as long as they need to, nigga. To get back to their regular self. You know what I'm talking about? But I just want to see boxing, bruh. Like I said, everybody's so concerned about their undefeated record, and like that shit sometimes keep you from having the best fights. They do. I think everybody should fight. I just do. But I know they always put pressure on our people. You don't really see Virgil Ortiz, you know what I'm talking about? I would have loved to see that fight between him and Tim Tszyu. You feel me? But he pulled out. You know what I'm talking about? He also straight out of the comic book, bruh. But I just want to see boxing on this boxing talk. You feel what I'm saying? So I just want to see it. But yeah, I think Shakur, in a few years, I'd love to see Tank and Abdullah Mason. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't bullshitting with you. I think Tank will be gone before that, though. But I just want to see the fights, bro. Everybody around, just make the fights. I know that's easier said than done, but it's just like, I don't know. It's like boxing more politics now. Back in the day, you used to want to make the fight. Because, you know, like right now, you acting like, nigga, everybody in the world don't want to see Terrence Crawford and Boots. But y'all talk about Boots, but like Terrence Crawford finna fight this motherfucker with 10 fights, bro. That shit don't make no sense. It don't. And I bet you don't know one motherfucker this nigga he finna fight with 10 fights. I bet you don't know one motherfucker that he done fought. But y'all want to get to putting labels on niggas now. You know what I'm talking about? The Boots fights make no sense. So what? How much sense does this fight make? I don't know. Shit just don't make no sense. Just let the people fight. Why would you argue against the fight? That's probably the biggest fight in boxing right now. Terrence Crawford and Boots. I ain't bullshitting with you. For the real boxing people, that's probably the biggest fight you can make right now, bruh. I ain't bullshitting with you. Terrence Crawford and Boots. Either that or Tank and Shakur. But right now, to this date, them the two biggest, them probably the two biggest motherfucking thing. Now somebody gonna say Canelo and Benavidez. Like, I guess. I don't even be tripping off what Canelo do really, bro. Like, I still don't think a few motherfuckers, if they was to jump up, could beat him. But like, I don't know, that nigga like, I don't know, like orchestrated, bruh. You feel me? He, I don't know. He can fight. You can't take that away from him. He'll crack your motherfucking ass. And I don't see nobody hurting him, so I don't think Benavidez could beat him. I don't really think I think Terrence Crawford has the ability to beat him. I do. I just have to see that shit, bruh. You know what I'm talking about? Because what I know is that you're not gonna be able to take too much of that shit, bruh. You're not gonna be, nah. It's just like Tank and Shakur. You know what I'm talking about? Or Tank and Devin. You not like the object of that game right there. Of course, you might have the skills to beat that nigga, but you ain't gonna be able to you're not gonna be able to let that nigga crack you. No, not too many times. Cause them motherfuckers is deadly, bruh. Them motherfuckers will hurt you. You know what I'm talking about? Them motherfuckers will stop you in your tracks, folks. I ain't bullshitting with you. And the most dangerous thing about them motherfuckers, but can I tell you something? Just like my man said, shout out. I don't really see, just like my man said, I don't see Shakur or Devin really getting hit with that uppercut, bro. I don't. Damn near that right hand, period. I ain't bullshitting with you. I don't. But I don't know. I just want to see it. Ain't no telling what happened. Anything could happen. That's why you box. You feel me? But Tank crack, folks. And nigga, it's man, for 12 rounds. I don't know. That's when you just see how special you is. That's why I like to see it. But man, there's some good ass fights out there if they'll make them. We are the If niggas just wanted to fight, this would be some good ass time for boxing. They was just bringing it back for a little bit, making the fights and shit. So I don't know. Let's just hope they keep on making them things motherfuckers want to see, man. And I'm finna get up out of here with the boxing talk with the baby cuz. You know what I'm talking about. Always remember, it don't cost nothing. Just show a little bit of that love.